want to call it as a pandemic, because air pollution or impact of air pollution is equally as it was on during the COVID days. And in Delhi, we are breathing PM 2.5 around 300 to 400. Sometimes it also goes to 500. People affected during COVID days are equal as nowadays people affected by air pollution. Air purifier with HEPA filter definitely going to work. In Delhi, they want to kind of solve the pollution problem, then they have to work on two major things. One is dhool and second is dhua.
Hello and welcome to the Statesman Talk. I'm Ananya Dasgupta. On this episode, we're talking about the air emergency in Delhi with Dr. Palak Balyan. She's an air pollution and health expert at Climate Trends. Palak, thanks so much for joining us on Statesman Talk.
Thank you for having me, Ananya.
Let's forget about the headlines. As a mother of a school-going child, what I want to know is how polluted is Delhi's air today and how many times worse is it from globally accepted safe levels for long-term survival?
So I am feeling really hard to say that it is severely polluted, and this is a kind of health emergency right now if you see the numbers. And if you compare it with WHO health standard, WHO limit of PM 2.5 is 5 microgram per meter cube. And in Delhi, we are breathing PM 2.5 around 300 to 400. Sometimes it also goes to 500. So varies with the days. So yeah, we are in very serious health emergency. Also, I want to call it as a pandemic. So because air pollution or impact of air pollution is equally as it was on during the COVID days. So people affected during COVID days are equal as nowadays people affected by air pollution.
That's a very strong word to use, the word pandemic. You're saying it's as bad as when COVID was at its peak. It's that level of seriousness or health emergency.
Exactly. When you translate the number of human impacted by air pollution are almost equal with the number of people or human impacted with the COVID.
Okay, that is really serious. Everyone talks about this winter inversion that happens in Delhi, especially around the month of November. Can you just simply explain to us what that is and why Delhi turns into a gas chamber around this time?
Okay. Though I'll start by saying that our air is polluted throughout the year. It's just that during the winter season, the volume of the pollutant increases, and that is one because of the dip in the temperature during the same time. Plus, there is a lesser wind speed during the same time, and there are some local sources which also contribute during the same time, which is one firecrackers from festival time, and also the stubble burning from the Punjab and Haryana fields. And the temperature inversion, what I say is that during the winter season, the ground surface air become colder, and which is like a lid to our atmosphere. So it actually prevents prevents PM 2.5 to move out of the atmosphere or to go beyond that height. So that's why the volume of PM or other pollutants increases in our surroundings. So that's important reason that the height of our boundary layer decreases during the winter season, which is a natural phenomena. So that's why it is really most important that during this season, one, we have to work on our local sources and also try to avoid other sources which are kind of polluting during the same time. Plus, if we really wanted to decrease the winter pollution, we have to work year-round solutions, because that year-round pollution level or load kind of increase the background level of pollution, and when the winter comes, it automatically
so your base is already high, and then you're building on top of that, so it gets worse.
That, and then meteorology also kind of in addition to that also impacting the
so how
level.
much of this is contributed by factors, say crop burning, vehicular traffic, if we were to imagine in terms of a pie chart, which would be the worst culprit at this point?
So there are two different type or bases we actually identify the sources. One are the local sources, and one which is transported or transboundary sources. So transported or transboundary sources are which are not from the city or from the state or from the country, which are transported from other part of the land. So when we talk about transported sources, especially during a winter season, because stubble burning so stubble burning starts from 1st October till 30th November maximum, and the contribution of stubble burning is at its peak for 10 days in the month of November. During those days, 10 days, the contribution of stubble burning to Delhi air pollution can increases to 20 to 40%. So this is a quite high, but it's for those 10, 15, 20 days, that's it. But if you want to know the contribution of stubble burning in Delhi's annual air pollution load, then it's somewhere around 2 to 3%. So that's why the season is very important. That's why people mostly kind of do the discussion, or try to avoid this contradiction that why there is a ban on firecrackers. It's not that important source. I agree that it might not contribute that much, but because that season is very important, because that's a winter season where everything's trapped at the ground level. So that's why these less contributing sources plays very important role. But coming to the local sources, then definitely say that transport is the maximum contributing source. But somewhere almost equally contributing source is the construction and demolition activities uh, going on around the city. So I think these two are the major sources, and that's one reason that I simply ask people, if in Delhi they want to kind of solve the pollution problem, then they have to work on two major things. One is dhool and second is dhua. So if they kind of control their dhool and dhua from the city, so then almost 50% of the local pollution load can be kind of solved.
I'll come to that about who is responsible to control this dhool and dhua, as you say. But what does breathing every day at a full day at an AQI of 500 do to my lungs or do to the lungs of my child, especially for very young children?
Yeah. So if I really want to talk about the health impact, it sometimes sound very serious and emergency, because the impacts, they starts from our head to toe. So air pollution can impact any part or any organ of your body, because when we talk about PM 2.5, the size of PM 2.5 is very small, that even they can enter to your bloodstream. And once these particles enter your bloodstream through the blood circulation system, it can goes to any organ of your body, and that's why it can impact any part of your body. So that's as simple as that, that you are not saved, any of your organ is not saved. Sometimes we always feel that lungs are the first organ system where air goes and interacts, that this is the most affected area. It is the fastest affected organ, I would say, but other organs are also not safe.
Okay.
So that's why even the brain of your child is equally impacted. Not just the child, even the elderly people or older people also, brain activity slow down because of the stress of air pollution. It also impact your memory, it also impact your capacity of understanding. So it make your brain little foggy and hazy. So that's kind of impact it can cause. And also it is proven and also documented in scientific studies that it has impact on your reproductive system also. So that is also again a very alarming situation, that these are kind of impact. For example, when we talk about air pollution, it's two form of air pollution. One, the load of air pollution, how much is the weight of air pollution. So when it's settle down or accumulate in any of your vein or artery, can cause the blockage of your circulatory system. You can have stroke, all these kind of activity. But also there is one important factor, that what is the composition of that particle. So how this is, from where it is come, what are the sources of this, what is the make of that particle. It is a biogenic particle or it's a cancerous particle. So that again have an additional kind of compound impact on your health. So overall it's very harmful.
So, Palak, we all think that by wearing a mask or having air purifiers at home for those who can afford to, it addresses some of the problem. Are we right?
Yes. So when we talk about air purifiers, I think I should start from the basic. So how air pollution impact our health? It's the exposure, that the dose of air pollution. So if you somehow, either through mask or through air purifier, cut that dose for some time even, then your lungs or your other body parts will be in a little relaxed situation. There will be no stress of exposure. So that's why anything which is kind of helping you from that exposure even for some time, that is of help. So if I say that if you have a mask, a good quality N95 mask, and if it's fit well on your face, then it is a very good
So below
kind of intervention.
N95 does not make any sense at all.
If it again, it makes, ऐसा नहीं है, it makes, because there is always there is a filter, right? It's a kind of filter between air and your nose and your mouth, so it will impact. But if you want to have a better impact, a kind of a significant impact, then definitely there you should go for a N95 if you are stepping out your home. And for a closed indoor environment, your air purifier with HEPA filter definitely going to work.
You've mentioned how serious this problem is. We are all breathing that air every day. Is there any solution? I mean, you mentioned this dhool and dhua, but who's responsible for addressing this problem, acute problem that is, of dhool and dhua?
Okay, so I think this problem is created by people. So all the people, the solution also lies with the people. And people, I mean, at all levels, individual level, community level, and also at the government level. So we all have to kind of together be more sensitive or sensitized toward the problem, and also kind of do their own bit as per the responsibility. And then we have to work on all these solution. If I individually talk about that, what individual can do, then I think if I am sensitized and aware of the problem, then I should and try not to use my car on a regular basis. I should try using public transport. Though I prefer to say that cycling, but because outdoor air is polluted, then it's also avoidable. You should avoid the cycling and walking outdoor airs. But for other seasons, I think one should also try to have cycling and using footpaths to walk instead of like going a car for even for a shorter distance. So that kind of activity will definitely help. For example, if something is burning near your house, somebody else is burning, so you should be kind of accountable to say no to that person, that you cannot do that. So you should have to own your responsibilities, that this is my responsibility, and I have to be like, I one should become an eye for the authorities, that if something is happening, I should inform to the authorities. So these kind of awareness is really important and critical nowadays, because only authorities cannot do this, because we already are in a very bad state.
But what can authorities do? Suppose if I were to ask you to recommend 3 steps which the authorities, especially in Delhi, can do, what would they be?
See, solution lies with the source. So we always, I prefer that instead of going for a cosmetic solutions like putting out sprinklers or the smoke towers and all that, better is to work at the source level. And as I just mentioned, that the two important source for Delhi air pollution, local source, which are under the local government jurisdictions, are vehicular pollution and construction and dust. So the better enforcement for the construction site and demolition site is very much needed. On papers, we have a very good plan written for construction and demolition site. If we simply follow those rules strictly, then I think it will be really nice, and we can cut down on a lot of load coming from these sites. And coming to the transport sector, I would say that one thing is simultaneously going on is the transitioning of fuel vehicle into EV vehicle. So that is one process which is going on, but it's kind of one very slow process. And also there is an affordability issue, that everybody can not afford EV car, and plus there is another sustainability issue, that we cannot just scrap all the oil based vehicles engines and come up with the EV vehicle. Then the way forward should be the management of the traffic. We have to work on the traffic intersections where the road jams are happen, so we have to work on that, try to avoid we have to make sure that cars, this is individual's responsibility also, that car pollution check certificate is up to date. The car is not polluting beyond the limit. Also, while standing on a traffic signal light, there should engine should be switched off if it is for a longer time duration. So that kind of small but impactful activity will definitely going to help overall combating the pollution problem in
Palak, help
Delhi.
me understand why the problem has worsened now in Delhi, as opposed to say 10 years ago. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we didn't know what air pollution was, or at least we didn't face this kind of an extreme situation and an emergency. What happened? Is it just vehicular traffic, or is it the construction that has gone up?
So there are multiple factors, I would say, responsible for this thing. One is that our population, first of all, because when we talk about Delhi, I think in Delhi, maximum 20% of Delhiites owns car. So 20% is not that much. But when we translate this 20% into absolute number, then it is very high because our population is very high. So that's one reason that everything multiplies with the population. So that's one reason. Plus, second one is that affordability of people has gone up. In last decade, I would say that the people now can afford to four-wheelers easily. So that's one reason that everybody wants comfort and want to go and buy a new car. So that's those kind of thing. Plus, now we have infrastructure, easy availability of things. So these kind of thing kind of adds. I would say that fast development is also kind of adds to this problem. When we burn fuel, then this also multiplies with the population number. So everything multiplies with the population, actually creates this kind of problem. And overall also there is a background pollution level which is now kind of every year getting increase. So that's why this whole thing kind of come up. So to clean this, we have to really go back to like 2 decades or something, that we have to be without car. So this kind of some serious and I think step should be taken.
How does Delhi's air quality now compare to say Beijing, which was at its worst a few years ago? Is Delhi's air now dirtier, and how did Beijing fix it? Was it just to move the factories rather to other areas?
It is bad for sure. It is equally bad because I remember Beijing used to be on top. Now we are on top. It's equally bad. And yes, along with shifting factories out of Beijing is one option. But along with that, they have also worked with their municipal corporations to work within the city to control the pollution. And these small steps or changes which I've just discussed, they kind of followed all these steps only. But when you enforce all these things on ground, then there is a stricter rule and enforcement implementation on ground, then these small changes will show the results. So they did only these things, that they kind of removed they kind of removed the polluting vehicles from the road. There was more greenery in the city. There were no dust on the road. That is one important source. I should add here that in Delhi, road dust is a major pollution source along with the traffic pollution, because it's a one point source, but it keep on adding or resuspending the pollutant in the air every time the vehicle pass that dust. So that's why it is very doable solution, but we kind of try avoid these things. But this adds to pollution multiple times. So these kind of solutions which are very simple, but if you implement and do a strict enforcement, then will definitely show good results.
And are there any tech-based solutions that can help in policy making on this front?
Tech-based solution, if I talk from the examples, for it's very simple tech-based. For example, if you are at construction demolition site, it should be covered with the green, and then there should be sprinkler at the site, not at the monitoring stations, but at the site, so that there should be no dust out from that site. So these kind of simple, I don't think there is a other than like using better EV vehicles or hybrid vehicles. So these kind of solutions are there, but otherwise I think basic solution will work wonder.
I want to ask you a final question. What gives us hope, or is there any hope that we will get out of this situation?
Yeah, there are hopes, very much, because as you also said that once there was Beijing, which was on number one, and then nowadays the quality is very good in Beijing. So same, we can also have the same air quality, better clean air quality. So we have examples from around the world. I think everybody knows about London smoke. Once there was, I think in London, the air was really unbreathable and people were getting sick, and hospitalization is one thing which is on top, but now they are cleanest, one of the cleanest. So that's why even from the examples of other parts of the world, we too have that hope that this will work.
And that one day we'll have cleaner air, and hopefully we'll all be healthier therefore.
Yes, and for that, I think everybody, individual, community, and government should have that will that we want to work on this together.
Palak, thanks so much for joining us. That was indeed, quite insightful having
you.
this chat with you and knowing that, okay, there are ways to get around it, provided everyone gets together to fix it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's it then on this episode of the Statesman Talk. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and post your comments on what you thought of this episode and what you think of what Palak suggested, the solutions, and what role each of us can play in that.